there's a life I could have known, one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Oh, hello. I'm going to let the music play for a minute, but I'm sitting here talking to Dr. David Evans. And yeah, if you're, back in, it's like deja vu from yesterday. We were just in the middle of so many things. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have you put that mic down and let's use this one, I think. Let's set that one in the floor, and we're going to, over to the side. And we're going to have you use that other one, just simply because that one seems to be a little, not that you need the extra volume, but that just seems to pick up a little bit better. But Dr. David Evans is in the house, and when he finished up, I said, we were so busy. We were just so overbooked with guests. And then we had the last 2 days of the month, because we have a lot of reoccurring guests, but when you have a fifth, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, that tends to be wide open. And so I was saving the 29th and 30th thinking, okay, somebody's going to call me and need something. But so far I've had, no one reach out to me in the last few days. And I said, man, because I had tried to get you in. Friday seems to be really busy for you, because we try to get a Friday in here on a Faith Friday when we have an opening, because we have reoccurring guests every Faith Friday. On the first we have Lisa Forth. The second we try to bring Jack Martin in. Haven't had him in a while, but because he's been out. But then we have Rachel Culver, and then we have Katie Allen, and then we start over, because they're just people who I've connected with, But always, I would love having you in, and we put you on a reoccurring, but you just can't. Your just schedule's so busy.
It is. Fridays are definitely tough.
Yeah.
Fridays definitely are tough, but Mondays are good. I'm tired from Sunday, but definitely better. So other days are definitely better, but beside all that, good morning, Sister U-Turn.
Good morning, David, Dr. David Evans.
I wore a different shirt today, just so.
Okay, what have you got?
Like Monday and Tuesday. Yeah. If people are watching the video, they're like, it is a different show.
It is a completely different show.
Yeah.
That's just it, because it's like, but we were just in the middle of so much history. I said, I still haven't booked that show tomorrow. Do you want to come back in? And let's just keep this talk about Israel and the archaeological and the trips to the Holy Land and all the things, because I'm just so... I was watching a video this morning of a guy that was doing a tour. His videos were spectacular. You can do so much virtually, but he didn't know what he was talking about. He was in the tunnel that we were talking about that's under the Pilgrimage Road. He was like, what is this? And he's an Israeli.
Yes.
And it was hysterical to me, but the footage was fabulous.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, I could do a better tour than him.
Yeah.
Because I've done so much virtually, but it was really funny.
I'm going to sympathize with the guy just a tad, because, you spend your whole life reading and studying and stuff like that. And my very first trip in Israel, the tour guide just expected me to know more than him. And granted, biblically and abstract principles, I knew about this war, I knew about this king, I knew about all this. But when we got out to a place, he's like, Pastor, do you want to talk? I'm like, I don't know where we are. I see a field. I don't know what this field is. And he's like, it's this field. I'm like, no way. Is this where this and this? He's like, yeah, this is where this happened. I'm like, oh my goodness. And so it's a shock to the system because you're finally on that piece of soil. And then like when you get around like the temple and everything, like I had this image in my brain. Like whenever I read, I create these images so that way I have points and it helps my photographic memory and all. To learn like words and things of the sort, and I had all these kind of things pictured, and so when I finally got to these places, like, man, I'm like, okay, this is what it looks like, and so it really helped color my theology. It helped color my concept of historicity and everything that I know about the scriptures. So I do empathize with folks that get over there and they're in this beautiful thing and they're like, well, I think this happened, that kind of thing. Like, man, I lean heavy on those early trips with the tour guide. I'm like, and they get me up front and they're like, all right, this is where we're going. Yeah. These are the things. I'm like, yeah, and this happened too. Yeah, you know. And like, yeah, okay, now show me kind of the area and all that. Yeah. So they were training me and I was learning, and then yeah, man, it was great. Now you go, and I was blown away. But now, whenever I go, I like watching other people. I like watching the epiphany. I like watching the eyes just open up. I like watching oh my goodness, it's real. Like I said just yesterday, Israel is real.
Oh yeah. And that's the archaeological discoveries that just show the foundation of how long the Jewish people have been there. Hebrews, Israelites, Jewish people, that name has changed, but it's still the same people. It blows me away. I was telling you about under the parking lot. I was wanting to say that was about how many civilizations. I went back and looked it up. It was 11 they have found so far. 11 civilizations they have found in that parking lot.
That they have found so far.
So far.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's absolutely, like I was laughing again yesterday. Again, you put a parking lot, you pave parking lot over a paradise, like over this like thing. It's all over Israel.
Yeah.
And when you go and visit Jerusalem and stuff, they'll show you in the midst of the hustle bustle, they're like, hey, here's the ancient wall. And Jerusalem is just spilled out all over. But yet they're like, man, as we dig down, we realize Old City is spread out so much further. And it's way over here and it's way over here. And there's just so much that's been just piled on top. I mean, one century after another, they just kept building on top of it. And there's nothing wrong with it historically. But now with us, we're like, man, this property, this real estate, these rocks, this culture is so valuable. We want to see it. So quit building on top of it. And they're not any longer, but like to try to figure out how to unearth some of these things and to be able to see it. Like you said, they have found the Pilgrim Road. They have found a tunnel under a tunnel, that's under another pathway, and like goodness. So they'll have all these kind of sections, historically. As you're kind of diving in, you have Old Testament, you have New Testament, you have modern, you have post-biblical, all this level of history. And so, man, it's got to be a headache to kind of think through how do you unearth and how do you show all this stuff. But when we find something like a tomb, like when we find a room, like we find a civilization, it is just... It's just mind shattering to be able to physically see it and know. Like one thing I like whenever we went to Capernaum, for example. Of course, you have the tabernacle. You have the. I probably got a little thing right here. Caesarea Philippi. No, not one of those. But you've got like the temple. Then you've got like Peter's place. But then all around it, you've got all these homes, and it looks just like a labyrinth, just a maze of like stacked up kind of rock stuff like that. And people start explaining what happened in our culture when you have a child. And they get 18, 20, whatever it is, and they get married, whatever, they leave your home and they go buy a piece of property or something, ideally, right? Or they rent something, whatever it is. They get their own place, is what I'm trying to say. They get their own place. But in this culture, they didn't just get their own place. They knocked a hole in the back of the house and built another room, and that was their room. And so you had one room and another room and another room and another room and another room. And so you had aunts, uncles, cousins, grandchildren, everybody living under the same exact roof. And then they all did the same exact job. So your employment was your family, and all your family kind of stuck together. And I mean, so you see that kind of labyrinth of like, oh, there's another room, there's another room, there's another room. You get to see that in the rubble today. And it happened in Corinth, in Philippi, Capernaum. I mean, all these places. That's just how the culture was.
And it's the concept of when Christ said, I'm going to my Father's house. They would have fully understood that, because they would have, that whenever somebody was betrothed, they didn't know when their wedding was going to happen. It was just whenever the room was ready. Yeah. All that verbiage that Christ was saying is something that would have spoken exactly to their culture.
Yes.
I'm going to my Father's house to make a room, and it's breathtaking when you put it all together. We're going to do show and tell. I'm going to just real quickly, these are some of the archaeological books that I'm a big fan of. This one is by Joel Kramer. He has got some fabulous stuff. I discovered them all through YouTube and then got their books. Titus Kennedy, another one, good friends of Joel Kramer. They work together. This is a great book. And then this is the one that I was talking about yesterday. This is When the Stones Speak by Daron Spillman. And this one speaks so much to the archaeology, but it also helps you to understand the claim that Palestine is, that you understand so much better the conflict between Palestine and Israel with this one. And I mean, wow. I mean, it just really unpacked that for me, because I didn't understand it. Yeah. I did not understand it. This one, man, it just made it so clear. Yeah.
Which currently in our news with President Trump and Israel and Hamas, I mean, this book right here is absolutely relevant and necessary. Why do we understand this? Why should we care? Why do these claims? Why not these claims? That kind of thing. So anyway, that would be definitely a great book to understand and read. So the history.
It will open up the city of David for you too, in a way. This stuff, while we're talking about the Pilgrimage Road, if you want to understand more about that, you need to Davidallah. That's Little David. That's the guy who did it. Davidallah. I think that means Little David, and that's what they call him, Davidallah.
Again, I'll go with it. There's nothing about me that's like I'm so big, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But he's just a little bitty dude, and his name is David, and they call him Davidallah.
He's a tiny little man.
Yeah, for sure. But and you just, like I said, read the book. It's fascinating. Okay, now I want to see some real show and tell.
My goodness.
Come on.
Okay, all right.
We had the same concept in mind. He messaged me yesterday. He says, "What do you want to talk about?" So let's just keep going. And then he brings all this stuff, and I can't wait to see it. What you got for us? I'll describe it for those on radio, and then you need to go watch the social media post so you can see it.
That's right. Leave it up to me, this thick head over here, to be like, hey, let's do show and tell on a radio program. That's right.
That's okay. We will visualize it for them.
Hopefully the conversation is illustrious, and like you can. All right, so these are, and I didn't bring all of them, but it illustrates the fact that all these places, Bet-Shean, Caesarea Philippi, Masada.
Masada.
So all of these places, if you look at the very top of the page, National Parks of Israel. All right, so think of Travis Price Park. All right. And all of these biblical places are national parks. And so you pay like a national park fee, like the Smoky Mountains or Yellowstone, whatever it is. You pay a fee, and then you go in and see, kind of like Mount Rushmore, whatever it is. Well, all of their parks are typically biblical places. And so you'll have these government kind of issued guides for each of the places that you can go through and look at. But these are just some of those. But that's kind of the concept of how they're trying to unearth these and then maintain them and keep them. That's why we don't want war in these areas, because a bomb blows this stuff up, and you can already tell they've already received so much damage, so many fires throughout the centuries, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's the concept. Here is, and I picked up several rocks while I was over there, just different rocks, and I like this one. This is from the Sea of Galilee.
Oh, cool.
And it's sediment. So, like, there's just so many pieces and stuff like that. And some people are like, oh, okay, cool, man, this really come from Sea of Galilee. And right here's water from the Sea of Galilee. And I like that right there, because the water from the Sea of Galilee, of course, has got, like, some sediment and stuff in it. But that's the sand. So when you walk around the Sea of Galilee, that's the rock. So it's not like that real fine, coarse sand. It's that type of pebble.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So there's that. And since we're already looking at water.
That's cool.
Here is Dead Sea water. Okay. And if you shake it up, all this stuff on the bottom goes away. So if you don't shake it, you can look at it, but it's mud. It's that black mud.
Right.
When you walk into the Dead Sea, you're buoyant. I mean, you
just float.
Yeah, you float, and it's so awkward and stuff because you can't go underwater. You wouldn't want to anyway because the level of salt will damage your eyes and ears, stuff like that. But there's just black mud, so when you walk out, your feet are just covered in black mud. Mm-hmm. King Herod thought there were healing, immortal properties, right. And so he would soak in there because he built Masada, and then Masada was near the Dead Sea, and he would go and soak because he wanted to be immortal. Well, of course, it's not immortal properties, that kind of thing, but what we have found is that obviously that dark mud sand exfoliates and that kind of stuff, but that's it. Now, you are most welcome, Sister U-Turn. I don't give this to everybody, but if you want to crack open the Dead Sea one and just barely touch your finger to your tongue just to see how salty it is, it's just that's up to you. May get a little mud on it, so just enjoy that.
Ooh, wow.
Is that salty?
Super salty. And I mean, you see the Dead Sea, and there's what's really interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of studies about how that it's receding a lot right now.
Yeah.
And that you go out in the middle of it, and there are these salt islands. It is just fascinating. Yeah. I mean, this is just incredible stuff, guys. This is such an interesting place.
Sea of Galilee.
Okay, so Sea of Galilee stuff.
River Jordan, again.
Wow.
This is just water from the River Jordan, but there's nothing.
What a great idea to get all this water stuff, but it's from
just water. So you're like,
cool.
Okay. You're like, how did you not get that from your faucet? Well, you have no clue. But I know I didn't. So
yeah, you took it. You took your bottles and did the sampling.
So whenever I talked about shopping at Tabash, for example,
I over that salty feel to my hands.
Yeah,
I got some of that water on my hands from the Dead Sea, and it's just weird feeling.
So I got a video.
Yeah.
And
it smells like salt.
Yeah, it is. That's
crazy.
So salty.
It is.
So when you get out, you feel soft.
I bet.
It's so soft, and you float. And so I tried my hardest. Like the water, whenever I got in it, they said 20, 30 foot worth of water, but man, I was sitting up like this, and I was kind of
weird.
I was so top heavy, and everybody was, and I tried to go underneath the water, and I could not. I couldn't get water up to here, and I was trying my hardest to get under. But and so you float. You literally float on top of this thing. People would cake themselves up with all the mud, that kind of thing, and then they would shower you off. The last time I walked in the Dead Sea, oh my goodness. Okay, so, and I didn't bring these because they're so fragile, but I picked up a rock within the Dead Sea, and it's crystallized salt.
Ooh.
And whenever I was walking on the floor of it, when I finally got to it, my toe actually kicked it.
Uh-huh.
And salt and crystal is sharp.
Oh, yeah.
I sliced my toe open. Yeah. And instantly I knew, because I'm in high salt of water. Salty water, and so instantly it starts burning, but also instantly it cleansed the wound. There was no problem, but I bled on the beach, so I had to go back and wash it all off, that kind of thing. But it was, but I grabbed the rock because I'm like, man, what did I kick? I want to know, just in case I have a problem. And it was just a big old chunk of salt.
Wow.
So when you on the seashore, on the shore, you'll have rocks that are crystallized. The rocks that I got from the Dead Sea and I put in my office, and I just lay them there. At first, they look just like that rock there, but after a while, you'll start seeing the salt pull out of it, and it looks fuzzy. And so because of our climate and our culture, and in Masada, for example, and it's important to note because historically, there was in AD 70, there were zealots that took over Masada. Mm-hmm. And nobody could get and there was about 70 zealots or something like that, 60 zealots. And the whole Roman army could not take over Masada because it was so fortified that only a handful of zealots were able to take over. There's a snake path, but it forced you to go single file. And so there's so many rocks up there that single file up, they just kept throwing rocks at soldiers and they couldn't come up. So on this side, actually right there, the Roman army, it had to look like a Lord of the Rings movie. Yeah. But they built this huge bridge and they dropped it on top of here, and all the army went up, and all the zealots killed themselves just so they wouldn't be imprisoned by the Roman army. Now, how did they stay up there for so many years? Well, there were cisterns that were still full of water. Mm-hmm. And the water in that area, I mean, with the pure, like the salt and everything, it just stayed pure and they were able to drink it. But also in Herod's place here, they had bread. And they had bread to live on that they could not make, but it was already made. And that bread was years and years and years and years and years old. But if you take a loaf of bread and you stick that on your front porch, by, I don't know, a couple of days, that's right. Why? Sure. Because of the
atmosphere in here.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is so dry there that it does not mold.
Interesting.
It did not mold. So they were able to eat the bread that had been there like decades before and still be able to eat that from Masada. Yeah. And so the whole place there around the Dead Sea is, I mean, it's just so dry and so salty. In my brain, Sister U-Turn, we do not have, nor will we ever find Sodom and Gomorrah. Mm. God wiped it off the face of the planet. Right. And what did Lot's wife turn into? Salt. Yeah. So if you look at the story and you look at a map, you could place Sodom and Gomorrah in and around the Dead Sea area. Mm-hmm. It's also the lowest part of the earth, right? If God ever decided to smite a city with his finger and just make it go away, it seems like he'd make quite an impression on our planet. Mm-hmm. So Sodom and Gomorrah more than likely was in that area, and God used nature around it for which he created to consume Lot's wife. It just makes sense. But anyway.
I'll tell you, Joel Kramer's got a fascinating video on Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm serious, man. Go watch it because they talk about the city of the plains and the one that survived. Yeah. That Lot said, hey, I got to go somewhere, let me go to this city. And that one that survived, and they have found what they believe is the remnants of that. And it makes, and I don't have my notes about, I don't know if it's in this book or not, but there is a video, if you go find Joel Kramer online, Expedition Bible, and coolest logo ever on his site. But
in Masada,
but it talks a lot about Sodom and Gomorrah too. But in Masada, what now?
In Masada, Dead Sea area, that's where you find the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that's why they call it Dead Sea Scrolls, right?
Yeah,
and that's where Qumran had these caves that they would keep, these big old pots full of papyrus.
Explain what Qumran is for people who, because
the community of the Essenes, community of the Qumran, were, golly, what is a good modern day example? I don't want to say like
monks and that kind of thing, maybe.
I guess that would be the best way. Very strict discipline. Kind of community in which to study and to follow Christ. And a part of their discipline was to preserve the written word. And they're written on papyrus leaves. And papyrus leaves, obviously, as you have leaves coming into your house today, our leaves falling off of our trees, I mean, they crumble pretty quickly, few days, and then they're just kind of dust, right? Mm-hmm. And so these papyrus leaves, although they were thicker than our typical leaves we have here, they did their best to preserve. And so we, since 1940-something, we were able to find these because a sheep farmer threw a rock, heard something break, and so he climbed down, and lo and behold, there were just jars and jars and jars and jars lined up. And I can only imagine when they did it, how they did it, why they did it. But I mean, there was so much destruction of holy property that they probably took these library of leaves and hid them so that someone in the future could have them. But because of the preservation of that area, because of the salt, they didn't deteriorate.
Right.
So that's why we have them, and that's why Masada had the soil, had the bread and things of the sort. So things just did not deteriorate. They were dry and they're preserved very, very well. So
that's really cool. So, and the one thing about Qumran, I know that as they've excavated there, they have found areas where they have these benches with inkwells and the evidence of the scribes.
Oh, nice.
Of scribal activity, in other words, because they have found these areas that have inkwells in them and all of that.
Qumran. Yeah, I like monks. So the monastic way of their life, there's little footprint.
Yeah.
There's not as much footprint. Roman Empire, big footprint.
Yeah.
But like Herod, huge footprint. So Masada, he has Herodium, he has all those kind of things, huge footprint. Folks like John the Baptist, and his connection with like small footprint. I mean, that was the I must decrease, Christ must increase kind of attitude and stuff. So,
have you ever heard that people speculate he may have been an Essene?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that too.
And I do too. If you think about his lifestyle and what he was, it sounds like he was an Essene. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, so what else you got there, Brother David?
Well, I got a handful of things. So when you go to like the Tabash and Olivewood kind of stuff, they sell things like this. These are like little trinkets and stuff like that, and you can buy those for $3 to $5 to $10, those kind of things. Right. So it's not that pricey, but those are typical like Olivewood souvenirs that you would get. Now, granted, they have as large as these two tables put together Olivewood nativity scenes that are like tens of thousands of dollars that you can buy and have it shipped, and it's made out of one piece. There you go.
Get this kind of thing. Now, I ordered these. I'm hoping that they're legitimately from Israel, like they say, but they're supposed to be Olivewood as well. Yeah. But I think the look of it, the marbling of it, I believe it is. It is Olivewood. But I bet they have a lot of these. Little crosses and little hearts and things like that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
Tabash, the reason why I like them, why we go and visit them, Bethlehem is 2% Christian. This is a Christian family, Christian run, wonderful. Christian operated, and so when we shop there, it kind of makes you feel like you're helping Christianity stay alive there or have a presence there.
Sure.
And they have a lot of pressure from Islamic individuals to take over their store. I mean, Islamic people sell Christian stuff all over because it sells and it's money. It's a great business, right?
It's a money maker.
These folks do it because it's ministry,
right?
And they've become good friends. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah, they were not just people that just hey, have a good day kind of thing, but they found out my phone number and they followed me on Facebook. We text back and forth, and
that's cool.
Hey, Pastor, pray for this. Hey, this is going on, that kind of thing. So it's been a relationship that's continued for many, many years, and so I don't make a dime off of them, and they make really good money. But
the thing that you can't get into Bethlehem a lot of the times now.
Cannot,
right?
because
do you have problems going and seeing them because of the
when it's shut down, you can't go see them.
Yeah,
absolutely. So
can we mail order from them?
Modern money. You need to see that modern money. You can mail order if you go to Tabash. Actually, let me put that TabashSouvenirs.com.
So that would be a really good place to do some mail order.
But it also keeps it going on, and all their stuff is legit. Like the things I'm about to show you all have certificate of authenticity, not only with Tabash, but also, and that's modern money, but also with the Israeli government.
I love it. 50 shekel.
Here's shekel. Yep. There's 10. There's 5. Yeah.
I love it. That's so cool.
In the modern their modern money. Here's the crazy thing. So you have a half a shekel and you have a whole shekel. Mm-hmm. The half a shekel is larger, and I think there's probably in that bag a whole shekel. Actually, got them right here. Maybe. Yeah.
This carving that's on this. What is this coin? That's got the capital stone.
Not sure. I'd have to see.
It's got a stone. It's got this little capital stone, I guess they call it.
Yep.
Was found in palaces, and that's what led them to the discovery of the city of David.
Yep.
Is because they found a stone like this, and they knew there had to have been a palace nearby, and that's what led them to start digging where the city of David is located. Yep. And this is Polynesian origin, isn't it?
I'm not aware of that, but it sounds right though.
Or Phoenician.
Yeah.
Phoenician, Polynesian. I knew that wasn't right.
I'm like,
Phoenician.
That's new to me.
Well, the Phoenicians were the ones. It's like when David conquered the area. There's a connection where a Phoenician ruler came in, and the artisans built a palace for David, and so that's where this capital stone started. Is because it's Phoenician in origin. And they've also found, because that's one thing, a lot of people are like, we've never had Phoenicians in this area. And some of the things that they've excavated, they found an earring a couple of years ago, definitely Phoenician in the area. So everything that they find that reinforces it, and this design is Phoenician. And that's the speculation is because when it says, well, the Phoenician ruler sent the artisans to build a palace for David, And that's where that came from, and it's even on their money. So what is that coin, do you know?
All right, so here's a 10-cent piece, a dime. This would be a 10-cent kind of shekel. But these are the two I really wanted you to see. So this is a half shekel, and these are the modern dollars before I show you some ancient stuff. Okay. So this is a half a shekel. This is a whole shekel.
Oh.
So
why is it bigger?
Oh.
That's weird. Why? The half shekel.
Oh.
The half shekel's bigger than the whole shekel. Why?
Oh, I love that.
Why, Dr. David?
Yes, I love that. So going back to biblical times, wasn't there, a story of a shekel and a fish and paying our temple tax, And so the modern make of the money goes all the way back to that original story of that original shekel still small enough to fit into the mouth of a fish.
Oh, okay.
Because the temple tax was a half a shekel per person.
Yeah.
And so you pay 2 of those or you'd pay 1 of the shekels. Yep.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So they still throw back to biblical days. Yep.
I love it.
All right.
That is so cool. I love it, love it, love it.
So
show and tell time, and if you're on radio and you can't see, you need to go find this on social media. You can go LaVern, you turn LaVern Vivio and find it. It's on the YouTube channel for WSGI and, of course, WSGI Facebook page as well. Rachel Culver's checking in. Good morning to one of my favorites as well, Miss Rachel Culver. She says, good morning to 2 of my faves. Love you, sister.
Rachel Culver.
I'm telling, she comes in.
She's fantastic.
She comes in once a month.
Have you had her husband in?
Yeah. But I absolutely. But she is a sister who is anointed, and man, can she preach. I love seeing these girls who can preach it, man. She's so good.
Open your hand. Okay. Open your hand. It's a widow's mite.
This is a widow's mite, you guys. Tiny, like the tip of my pinky.
And it's dated back to the time of Jesus.
Oh, that's so cool. And you can buy this kind of stuff? Mm-hmm. Is it like terribly expensive? Am I holding $1,000 here?
No.
Really?
No, it's not $1,000.
So I could order me a widow's mite from...
Only $990. No, I'm just kidding.
But I could order a widow's mite from Tabash.
It's whatever price you want to pay today, sister.
You're funny. Listening to Daron's book, there's several coins I'd love to get my hands on. I can't tell you for sure. Well, the one where it shows, the one that where Rome conquered Israel, and I can't remember the name of it.
Better stamp of one that I've got. Okay. I'll take the other one.
Oh, that's really cool.
And so, all right, the widow's mite and other coins, if you notice in today, like this coin and that coin, like the mite and the shekel are very similar.
Okay.
So you see how this is struck.
Right.
And it's got the edges, it's got the symbol, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's a piece of artwork. But then you got this, and it looks like scrap metal because it was.
Yeah, that's again, the widow's mite looks like a piece of scrap metal.
Yeah, it wasn't
tiny.
Yeah, it wasn't worth much, that kind of thing. And so they would just take a little drop of whatever trash metal. Yeah. Sometimes it was the same brass or copper, whatever it might have been, and they would just strike it, and it was never centered necessarily, and they're just doing these manually all the time. Nowadays, I mean, we've got this process that make very beautiful coins. Right. But we don't understand that back in that day, all it had to do was weigh a certain amount. Okay. That's why they had weights and measures. That's why you see that all the time in Scripture. Right. Weights and measures, and they've got to be balanced and stuff like that. So it didn't matter exactly that it was round and it looked pretty. It just had to be a certain weight to be worth a certain price. Gotcha. And so you will have those things not. And here is a greater really cool coin. There you go. Okay. And what's this one? You just dropped in my hand. This one looks like a Roman coin. It is. It is. I'm going to have to look it back up to tell you. But the Roman coins, I just find these coins and stuff absolutely fascinating because, guys, these were in the hands of the people we talk about. Yeah. That's what blows my mind. Yeah. I mean, these were in their hands, and it's one of those coins I know, and it's right on the tip of my tongue, and I'm having this brain moment. I'm like, I know this. I've talked about this 1,000 times, and I can't get the word out of my brain right now. So I understand. It's the more expensive piece here. I would imagine any of the Roman coins that are maybe more rare
But
so this is the more expensive piece here.
What is that?
It's a tip of a Roman spear.
That's a spear. Woohoo!
And it's dated back to the time of Jesus.
Wow.
That's what a tip of a Roman spear would have looked like. So the spear that went into Jesus' side, that's probably
no bigger than that.
That's probably
in your mind you visualize it much larger.
You know, that big flat blade kind of thing, and I mean, and it could have been.
Yeah.
But they also had spears with those tips as well.
Interesting.
And granted, you know, you have different types of bullets, right? You got different types of knives. Right. So I'm sure they had different types of spears.
Yeah.
But you can see the hole.
You can see the hole where it was like,
where
it was like, man, that's crazy.
That kind of thing.
Well, you know, and I'm going to go back to Joel Kramer again. He's got a video where they have found some spearheads of what they believe would have been the people like Goliath, giants, evidence of giants, because these spearheads are insanely big. But Joel Kramer is the guy, and it's Expedition Bible. His videos are just awesome. He's also the one, Rachel was telling me, she goes, oh, there's this guy, and he's talking about the Pharaoh, that when they look at his mummy, it's got evidence of sores and boils, and I'm like, yeah, that's Joel Kramer. He did that. He put that out because he is just so good. But he has one about the spears and these giant spearheads that they found, the evidence of giants, and it is so cool. I mean, this is just so cool. I just love it. I love it.
All right, one of the last things I want to show you, and I got several.
We're having show and tell on radio, guys. Yeah. I need to do a break. I mean, let's do a break. I got 2 breaks I got to do today. I want to start with Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market, because guess what? They were on the news this morning. I love it. I love it. I love it. They were on WKRN News 2 this morning for Tiny Town Tuesday. I just love it. And you know, Julie just did us proud. She's always a lot of fun. But go by and see them at Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market. They're open now Tuesdays through Saturdays. They open at 7 a.m. until 4, 7 until 4. And you can go by and grab lunch. You can grab breakfast right now. They are getting ready for their Fall on the Farm that is coming up on the 11th. Let me pull up the flyer real quick here. Yes. We are talking Saturday, October 11th, 9 to 3, getting all kinds of great food vendors going to be there. Going to have live music, bounce houses for all the kids, even if you're a big kid. Corn Pit, the farm store, of course, you can go in and find. I mean, it's not too early to start shopping for Christmas. You want to find some really unique items. You will find it there. You can get TNT popcorn. The boys put together their own little TNT popcorn. And while it lasts, you've got free hay rides, free entry. It is going to be a blast. If you want to come spend the day on the farm, again, this is Fall on the Farm, Saturday, October 11th from 9 to 3. They're at 7536 Clay Gregory Road in Orlinda. And you'll hear more about it on KRN. I'm sure that you can go to, it happened earlier today for Tiny Town. Their Tiny Town Tuesday episode. Today it was our very own Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market up in Orlinda. So go look them up on WKRN and learn more about that. But get by there. Fresh Case is always full of something wonderful. They were cutting pork the other day. I'll check in with her today and let you know when she's going to be cutting beef next time. But go and check out that fresh, they did pork last week, so they may be getting ready to do some beef, but they have to age it. So just go and check out the Fresh Case. It's always something wonderful. Always plenty of great selections too in the freezer section. But there's nothing like that Fresh Case. And if you got somebody that's got some kind of a special event coming up, or you want to give them a great gift, go by and put together a gift of all their wonderful cuts, and something for the grill here as we're in the fall and getting our last blast of nice weather before it gets super cold. Get something wonderful for the grill from Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market. Fall on the Farm. Put it on your calendar. Saturday, October 11th from 9 to 3, 7536 Clay Gregory Road in Orlinda. They're open right now. Go and see them and check them out on WKRN for Tiny Town Tuesday, and let them all know U-Turn sent you. All right. Brother Dr. David Evans is here, and you just got so much stuff here. You know, you got your crown of thorns. That right there, we've got to definitely look at that.
Yeah.
You can make those guys locally with locust limbs. If you have locust trees grow, they're indigenous, and so we have them everywhere. They work really well, but you got to get the smaller, more tender ones. You got to soak them so you can twist them.
Yep.
And the thorn's very big. When I was working for Glenn, down at the Blaze. Before I started working for him, I sent him one I made, and I got so tickled because they opened it up, because we've been friends for a long time, and first thing Stu did is put it on his head. It's like, what are you doing, man? But anyway,
not the thing to do, yeah.
And I had another one that I took down there when I was working down there, and he let us just kind of roam the place and do whatever, and I did a few episodes of a video series I called Wide Awake, Wide Awake and it's apologist stuff. And I did one on Easter with a crown of thorns, and I've got that video still, but I love that. But that one would have been made of what type of that would have been more authentic to what our Lord would have had on had to have worn.
Before I jump into that, I'm going to do my correction here. Denarii. So a denarius. So from Tiberia.
Okay.
A denarius from Tiberia. So that is a denarii. So the others are shekels. The widow's mite. That is a denarii that you would see in Scripture. And
who the emperor is?
It's denarius of Tiberius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I knew it was right on the tip of my tongue. I'm like, man, that's going to drive me insane. I know that term is on my brain. All right.
That just means we're getting a little bit older. That's what we do. Because we just got so much.
I'm waiting for my next cup of coffee. Go on.
I got you out early.
All right. So the crown of thorns there. My dad had made one whenever I was little of Don Juan rosebush kind of limbs and stuff like that. And he made it when it was all green so he could wrap it and let it dry, that kind of thing. And people have made it. I got this while in Jerusalem, and it was the closest spot to the beating of Christ. And there's a little guy that was out sitting on the side of the road, and he had several of these for just $5.
Oh, wow.
And so I bought the crown of thorns right beside or closest to the proximity of where Jesus was captured, which we know exactly where that is, like I talked about yesterday, and also beaten. And so you have this. I grabbed it. Our associate pastor of discipleship, Curtis Hunt's got one. I'm like, man, that's a good idea. But then I wondered, how am I going to get that thing home? I mean, that was a whole other story. But as I got it, I wanted to get it because of the size of the thorns. Sometimes you have movies that have thorns that are like this long. Then you've got like around here rosebush thorns that are there. So I'm like, all right, I want the most accurate if I can. And I'm not sure if this is exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty.
But I purchased it like just a few feet away from the place, and so it's super fragile.
Yeah, I'll be super careful.
And oh my goodness, to get it over here while you're looking at it, to get it over back home, walking through airport security with it, I thought they're going to trash it, but I've only lost $5 and I've tried.
Sure.
But as I walk through, they're like, "Oh no, take it, it's fine." You know, whatever. I'm like, okay, so it's not seen as a weapon, so that's good.
Yeah.
And then I just held it for the 13-hour flight all the way home.
Yeah.
And you couldn't put it in a bag because it would be just broken and nasty. So we got I got some for my family, and then so we got 4 or 5 of these back home safely. But they were very hard to get home safely.
I can imagine.
But that's what I think, if I were to put my thought, that I think that's the size of the thorn. And you can tell this thorn is longer than like that thorn. Yeah. But they're straight. They're not curved in arches you see as a rose bush kind of thing. So I think that gives us the best depiction.
I agree. I think so too. And I think it's really cool that you got it in that, like right there, so they would have used the same type of materials. So, because you can use the locust bushes or the rose bushes here, but again, it's not. Definitely not authentic, but it gives you the visual of what it would have been like. Talking with Dr. David Evans about his journeys in the Holy Land, talking about some of the things you can study, and y'all are working on trips. So if you want to get on the list to be aware of the trips that they're doing, definitely reach out to him. And it would be just a fascinating thing to go.
Follow Springfield Baptist on Facebook, because when we plan things, we post it on Facebook.
Okay.
And it will be there, and so you don't have to keep checking the website. If you want to keep doing it, makes our traffic ticker go up. We'd appreciate it. That'd be fine. But if you want to have an update and not miss it, then just make sure you're following us on Facebook. And every time we do a trip, we post it on there for anybody to register to be a part of. So, but archaeology, as we were talking yesterday, was absolutely the evidence. It's so exciting. so exciting. I wanted to share some archaeological discoveries with the listeners that, man, we've talked about the ones that we talked about yesterday, but then I talked so much about Dead Sea Scrolls, so look that up if you don't know what that is. Hezekiah's Tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
The Pool of Siloam. And I never say this word right, Merneptah steel. I never say that right. The Moabite stone, the Tel Dan inscription. I visited that one. Caiaphas's ossuary, the ossuary of James, the ossuaries that we've got. Oh my goodness, the bone boxes.
Yeah.
So just a totally different way of doing funerals and burials and stuff like that. You lay your body into a tomb, and when your body disintegrates, so they take the bones and put it in a bone box, and that's how they bury you, kind of thing. So there's a seal. I mean, there are all kind of seals that we're finding in Jerusalem and stuff. The Jesus boat, the Galilean boat.
That's a fun one, yeah. There's a fishing boat that did they find it in the Sea of Galilee?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a fishing boat that they took painstaking, steps to get it secure before they brought it out of the mud. And then there you go.
The bag.
The Jesus boat. There he's got it on the bag. That's hysterical.
I know I got something on the bag.
They've got it then. But it took them forever. Do you remember how long it took them to just get it out of the mud?
I don't.
Because they preserved it there.
Yeah.
Then they moved it, and it's
the museum has the video. Like you'll go in, and before you see the actual boat, you can sit and watch this 30-minute film or 45-minute film or something. It tells you how they found it, how they pieced it together, how they moved it, because this is rotting wood.
Oh yeah,
it's just been sitting there, and so they call it the Jesus boat, but there's no
sure, but it's from the
Jesus
time
actually
period.
Rode in the thing, but it's of that time period. It's kind of like these are of the time period.
Right?
Did Jesus handle this widow's mite? I mean, it was around when he was here, but there's no expectation he ever touched that one. But he was familiar with these things. He was familiar with that kind of boat. So when he was in the Sea of Galilee, this is the boat that he would have been on when he calmed the sea. And so you could see that, and just like you're talking about, you can get online and do a video tour of this boat and see this thing. And when you first look at it, it's like, golly, that's a wreck. I mean, well, yeah, it's rotted.
It's a shell.
Yeah, it really is. So you've got letters, you've got the Nazareth inscription, you got the Pontius Pilate inscription, you got other inscriptions and stuff, Jerusalem Chronicle. You've got so many things. Obviously, going over there, seeing Herodium, seeing Masada, extra biblical type things, but also seeing like Capernaum and Philippi and Corinth and Greece. I mean, you can go and walk these places as well and see, and all of them have sites, but also most of them have like museums too, where they'll keep a lot of these things behind glass for you to see, or like maybe they have other they pottery that was broken, and they'll put it all back together, and they'll keep it behind glass, so you'll see, man, that's what it looked like, that's how tall it was, that's how thick it was. So when you hear about something, you can actually get a visual while you're over there.
It's great stuff. I mean, it just makes me want to go like right now. And this, and you were talking about that y'all been following the steps of Paul as well. And I think that in and of itself, I mean, the Holy Land, of course, but I really want to go to Turkey.
Come on.
I want to go to Ephesus, really badly. And I think part of the reason why I want to go to Ephesus is because of the scripture that is tied to Ephesus that was written to Timothy that has done so much to confuse the roles of women, I think, in the church. And I don't think we're on the side. You know what I mean? You and I have talked about that a lot. And the more I study it, the more I'm convinced that we've really missed the mark on it. And I feel like he was talking to Timothy and saying, here's what you're going to have to do because of the situation you're in Ephesus. And you have to really understand Ephesus to really understand it. I want to go. So have you ever been to Ephesus yet?
I went this year.
Oh, man. Yeah. What was okay, tell me about Ephesus.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Just, oh, my.
Oh, yeah.
So you go to Corinth, and Corinth is rubble.
Okay.
It's absolute rubble. There's so much grass, and it's like, hey, over here, this one dirt pile, that's what this was. Like, nice dirt pile, Then you go to Ephesus, and I'm convinced that it's still livable. Like if you just put a roof on a room, you can still live there. They still have the ancient bathroom that is there. They still have the library. They have the whole place is made of marble. Mm-hmm. Even the roads are made of marble, and you're going downhill on marble, and it started raining. You would think that, oh my goodness, that's going to be like a slip and slide, but it's amazing when you're walking on it how grippy it is with your shoes. There's more grip going down a marble street. Huh. And of course everybody's asking, and the tour guide was like, well, yeah, and he's joking about it and everything. A couple of things he said was the age of the marble, may make it do that. The type of marble, how they cut it. I mean, he had all these explanations of why it was, but the fact of the matter is it was sprinkling. We were walking downhill on marble, and it was grippy.
Yeah.
Turkey was different than Greece. We're in Philippi in Greece. I got to see the prison. I got to stand right with the prison and everything. I did a devotion about Paul's imprisonment right there. Got to see it. And they were keeping an eye on everything. If you'd reach over and pick up a rock, they're like, nope, put it back down. Put it back down. You can't touch, you got to put it back down. We go to Turkey. We go to Ephesus. And, I mean, you can tell on the ground there's broken pottery there. There's something else. You're like, oh, my goodness. And they asked the tour guide. He's like, okay, everybody stop. This is not Greece. Everybody pick up a piece of pottery you see. All right, and now everybody stick it in your pocket. You're like, what? What just happened? Yeah. Totally different mindset. Yeah. But, I mean, when you look, they're like, listen, that's gravel to us. Because look around you at Ephesus. Yeah. We don't need that little broken shard of pottery. We have Ephesus. We have this. And so we are looking through right now doing a tour of the 7 churches. And so that might probably be our next trip. And then after that, another trip to Israel. Oh, wow. When we went to Ephesus, it was amazing. I bet. And the food in Turkey, again, just like in Greece, amazing. Yeah. We were warmly welcomed in. Everything was just really nice, but Ephesus was absolutely amazing. How well that city still stands. Yeah. You could still see the theater, all the way to the bathroom. You could see where the shops were. You could see everything. You see all the inscriptions. There's inscriptions all over the place. He quit showing us inscriptions because he's like, that one says this, that one says this. He's like, we're going to have to stop talking inscriptions because there's so much more to see. But I'm like, I want to know what that says. Yeah. So, oh my goodness, I'm trying my best in my Greek to kind of read some of these things. But oh my goodness, Ephesus was absolutely immaculate. Yeah. Yeah,
and I've done some little virtual tours of that. One of the things I find fascinating is that the temple to Artemis, which was considered one of the 7 wonders of the world at the time, is like, of everything else that's preserved, it's like in a swamp, and there's hardly anything left. But it was one of the 7 wonders. So what did it look like right now? Have they tried to do anything with it, or is it still just in a kind of a swampy area?
So they are working on it.
They're trying to.
Yeah. So there are, when you go to some locations, they're blocked off. Gotcha. Because they're working on them. They're trying to do, you can kind of see them from afar, but you can't get a real good notice of it. Same thing with Jerusalem. There's always a fence up somewhere because they're digging or they're refurbing or they're supporting or what have you. Here's the other aspect. A lot of these things have been buried for years.
Oh, yeah.
And thousands. And preserved.
Yeah.
And what we're doing, we're unearthing them. Yeah. And when we unearth them, we're damaging them.
Of course, yeah.
Not only with the tools, but you're exposing them to the current weather, and we're forcing them to go through weather again. And like the Jesus boat, for crying out loud, it was underwater, and now we're like, hey, we got a great idea. Let's get it in the open, in the air, and let it dry out and see what happens. So
it's going to fall apart.
Yeah. So they're having to always condition it and condition it and condition it. It takes a lot of money to do that. Same thing with the Temple of Artemis and same thing with everything else. So they're always working and reconditioning. There's always a project like that. So if you thought I-65 was bad, orange barrels everywhere. I mean, you go to Holy Lands, there's not orange barrels, but there's always something all over the place.
What you said, unearthing, that's the title of Dr. Titus Kennedy's book, is Unearthing the Bible. So I thought that was kind of funny that the same verbiage you just used, that's what he titles his book. So anyway, let me do one more. You've got something there. You got something real quick to share, and then I'm going to do a break here.
Do a break.
Okay, let's talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime, a realty. If you're interested in anything to do with real estate, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, and I talk about this a lot when I'm discussing Barry and Rebecca. But this is something that she even put up a post about, because when people start speculating, well, interest rates are going to fall. For some reason, people get more interested in buying because the interest rates are low, and they keep saying, Barry and Rebecca both will say, it doesn't really matter, because if the interest rates come down, then the housing prices are going to go up, and vice versa. When interest prices are high, housing prices have to go down because it's a little bit harder to get people to come look at your property. But man, when those interest rates low, for some reason, that's that mindset. Everybody's like, I got to get out there and get in the market. But it fluctuates on either side depending on what the interest rates are doing. So it's always the right time to buy. If a piece of property that you're interested in comes up, you never know if you're going to have access and opportunity to buy it again in your lifetime. So you better move on it. So you better know what you're qualified to buy. If you've got property, get a free market analysis so you know what the value should be. So if you know it's the time is right. She's even got a little article in here about what you should do when you first get a fixer-upper. What's the first thing you should do? And this article says, it's probably not what you think. You'll find listings that they have first when you're going to see them first. It's going to be on their social media platforms. You're going to find unique Facebook, social media for Barry and Rebecca. Each one has their own. They also have their own web pages. They'll talk about historic properties they've handled. You'll see a lot about Barry's marketing background. He was a vice president of a media marketing company for 17 years in Nashville before he went full-time with real estate. You get that expertise trying to sell your property, man, it's just packaged perfectly with videography, photography, drone footage, walkthrough tours. They are the whole package. They're cross-Planians. They've been here 30 years, and they specialize in Robertson County properties. But because they've got a diverse background, they can buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Because like me, that's their home state, so they understand it. But reach out to them today. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty. You can reach out to them with sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUYRobertsonCounty.com. Or here is Rebecca's phone number: 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Let them know U-Turn sent you. Back to Dr. David Evans. We've got just a few minutes. I got to hit the door running today because it's ACT Day across the district. So we got, so I usually I have first block planning, but today I got kiddos from the bell ringing, so somebody's having to cover for me until I get there. So we won't get to visit like we did yesterday a little bit. So Dr. David Evans, wrap us up here. We've got a few minutes. I'm going to be quiet. What do you
Ephesus. Here's some pictures of Ephesus that your viewers can't see unless you go to our Facebook. So you've got different things. But the thing I wanted to show you, on the ground there at Ephesus, you see that etched into the stone, that etched into the stone, that etched into the stone. And it looks like a chariot wheel, doesn't it? But it's not a chariot wheel. What that is ichthus.
Okay.
So it is a word that they use to say, hey, a Christian worship is happening here.
Really?
And it was designed in such a way to look like a chariot wheel. So people are like, oh, they etch chariot wheels, whatever it is. But Christian believers knew, definitely under persecution, that hey, when you saw that, all those letters right there spell ichthus, but all together in one spot, it looks like a chariot wheel. And so historically, the X that we see represents Christ. Ichthus represents Christ, right? And so people get tore up about Xmas. Well, it's not Xmas. So it's Christmas. So I still put Christ in Christmas, but X historically has always been a symbol of Christianity. Wow. And so, and then you've got right there, early Christians used X and also this to write out the word ichthus in one spot.
I've never seen that.
As a symbol. And you have them all over Ephesus.
Wow.
So Ephesus, you just mentioned that, has that, and you've got all the ruins back there, so all that kind of stuff.
That is fascinating. Well, see, you hear about the fish, but I'd never heard about the eggs. Okay, that's interesting.
And the fish, because of seaports and fishing people, that kind of stuff, it become the symbol. But the actual word is that ichthus. And so,
really? Okay, I had never heard that. That's fascinating. I just, I'm telling you, I'm living vicariously through. Let me, look at that. Oh,
that's the library of Delphus.
Yep, that is amazing. That is amazing.
Still stands.
Wow.
And one of the very first churches there are actually right up on the hill behind it, but they're excavating it right now. So you could see the excavation, you know where it is. And so you know where probably Timothy, Titus, Paul, and everybody met right up on the hill, but they're excavating it now. So our next trip, we'll probably be able to go up the hill and see it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, Ephesus had like three or four churches or temples or whatever it was, and they're unearthing. Philippi, I think there were like 3 or 4. They're unearthing those currently. So, I mean, there's always a project that's happening. Yeah. So much to
so cool. So much to see, guys. Follow Springfield Baptist so you can see what's going on with the Holy Land. If you want the Spanish tour, I know Ilyu takes a Spanish-speaking tour.
Come on.
So, and I don't know much about his or when he's going again, but he goes quite often, but it's all in Espanol.
Come on.
And I know because my friend Gwen went, they were going to Petra. Oh. And so she was like, I'm going. I don't care if I can understand her. Unfortunately, Ilyu is bilingual. So I'm sure she had plenty of help. But that was one thing. There's just all kinds of folks going, guys. And, it's just, man, like you said, what was it you said? Instead of reading the Bible in black and white, you read it in color.
Read it in color.
And you can do this stuff virtually. If it's not something you feel like you can financially do, then there's nothing stopping you from doing it online. The things that we can do online, guys, dig up this stuff. Jerome Spillman, When the Sun Speak, Titus Kennedy, you Google him on YouTube, you'll find some great stuff, and I cannot recommend enough Expedition Bible, Joel Kramer, his work, all great stuff, and man, you'll just be on fire for this. And appreciate you, Dr. David Evans. We've had a fun couple of days visiting with him. Tomorrow we'll hear from some more of the principals here in Robertson County. Got a couple more of them coming in. That's the first Wednesday now. That's what we do, and we talk to our principals here in Robertson County. Right now, I got to go help with the ACT test, so I got to get going. Thank you guys for joining us. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a wonderful day.